Hello, everyone. Uh, all right, I'll get started about now. So my name is Shotaro Granzier-Nakajima, and I'm a developer at Meetclaros. Meetclaros is a dispute resolution protocol. It's a sort of on-chain court. So I'm very happy to be here at ETHCC. I attended last year as a student, and now as a speaker. So I'd like to thank ETHCC for supporting students. That's how I am where I am now. And yeah, just supporting Ethereum ecosystem and beyond. So I will talk about content moderation. So does anyone recognize this photo? This photo is of the infamous January 6th US Capitol insurrection. These are Trump supporters climbing the walls of the Capitol. There are still ongoing congressional investigations into the exact circumstances under which this insurrection and incitement of violence occurred. But one thing is clear, that social media played a very important role in the insurrection. In particular, many people cite Donald J. Trump, the US president at the time, and his Twitter activity as a contributing factor or one of the main causes to organize and rally his supporters for the Capitol insurrection. And as a result, many Web2 companies, social media companies, including Twitter, soon followed by Facebook and others, decided to permanently suspend or ban Trump from social media platforms. So this begs the question, should King Jack or King Mark have the power as unelected officials to censor politicians from their platforms? As you know, political discourse is moving to the digital town square. Should these unelected officials have the power to censor anyone they choose? On the one hand, private companies, well, they can choose which customers they provide services to. But on the other hand, well, censorship is bad, and it's bad for democracy. So in short, who moderates the moderators? So there are very interesting efforts that have been happening at Facebook. They've introduced a sort of Supreme Court, which has some independence to attempt to put more transparency into their content moderation by having very contentious cases being solved by this allegedly independent Supreme Court. There are challenges, though. This court has only solved a handful of cases in the past year. And what if there were a natively transparent, credibly neutral Web3 native system to moderate contentious content at scale? Well, meet Meetclaros. So Meetclaros is a dispute resolution system. It's sort of like an online court. So a typical example, let's say Alice is a client in France and Bob is a graphic designer in Guatemala. They agree on a contract, they agree on a payment. Instead of paying Bob directly, Alice is going to put the payment into a smart contract that acts as escrow, where in case they have a dispute, Meetclaros will be the arbitrator. When a dispute is created, jurors are randomly selected. These jurors deliberate on the evidence and they vote. If Alice wins, then Alice will receive a refund. So how can we use Meetclaros for content moderation? Well, the idea is that if there's very contentious, if there's a very contentious case over content moderation, well, a case can be created in the Meetclaros court and jurors can decide. So how can we do this specifically? There are many ideas to unbundle user-generated content platforms from content moderation. So the idea is that Meetclaros can offer content moderation services to many existing platforms, and the platforms don't have to nationalize the content moderation themselves. Content moderation is very difficult to get right. So, I mean, lots of startup founders, Jack Dorsey, Mark Zuckerberg, they don't want to be the ones in charge making these very high-stakes decisions when they would rather be building. And that applies for a lot of crypto and tech startups as well. They don't want to spend all of their time moderating communities. And so there's a few types of content moderation. In particular, one effort is to address fake news and misinformation. And so it seems kind of unclear how to do this properly, but at least one thing is clear, that whatever system to moderate fake news and misinformation should be open source and easily verifiable. So meet Pythia. Pythia is a curated list of fake news on Twitter. Its focus is crypto Twitter influencers. And it was started by Matthias, former developer at Meetclaros. So how does it work? Any user can submit a tweet, including a URL to the tweet and a screenshot. The screenshot is uploaded to IPFS in case the tweet is deleted, and the submission must be accompanied by a deposit, about 40 DAI. The tweet can be challenged during a challenge period of about 4 days. If the tweet is challenged, then a dispute is created in the Meetclaros court. If the tweet is not challenged, then it's accepted into the curated list of fake news. So here's a few examples. This is a tweet from Jimmy Ragosa of Sysmo from 1 year ago at ETHCC, and it reads, breaking news, EIP 1559 has been rescheduled to 2022 as most Ethereum core developers report, quote, massive Rave hangover, unquote. A champion of the EIP was heard this morning at ETHCC saying, fuck the burn, I just need water right now. So someone added this tweet to Pythia. And by a show of hands, how many people think that this tweet was accepted to this fake news curated list? Does anyone think it was accepted? Okay. Who thinks it wasn't accepted? All right, so it seems a little bit split, but I think some in the audience already know the answer. Well, so in the end, the tweet was rejected. And the tweet was rejected because the policy states that the misinformation and the tweet containing fake news should not be humorous. It shouldn't be a joke. And in context, we can read this tweet and see, okay, Jimmy's clearly making a joke. He doesn't mean this seriously, and most reasonable people reading the tweet wouldn't think he's being serious. So here's another example. The tweet reads, Cardano is completely useless technology, and Charles Hodgkinson is basically a cult leader. So someone added this tweet to Pythia, and yeah, again, just by show of hands, how many people think that this tweet was accepted to the list of fake news? Oh, okay, just a couple hands, interesting. How many people think this tweet was rejected from a curated list of fake news? Okay, more hands. So yeah, this tweet was challenged and a dispute was created in the Meetclaros court, and parties submitted evidence that, well, Cardano does have some use cases and it's not completely useless technology. So it was rejected. So I'd like to highlight what these tweets demonstrate. You know, with content moderation, there are many use cases that are better solved by AI. For example, filtering images that contain gore or sexually explicit materials. But there are other content moderation use cases where there's more nuance and subjectivity involved. The tweet needs to be read in context. Who is Charles Hodgkinson? What is Cardano? What is an EIP? What is Rave? So this demonstrates a use case where you need humans involved making subjective decisions. So this is where Meetclaros shines. And if you're interested and want to follow this experiment in curating fake news, you can follow Pythia Check. This is the Twitter handle where Pythia submissions will be tweeted out, and any challenges will also be tweeted out, so you can see which tweets have been accused of being fake news. And so there's another use case for content moderation. On the one hand, you have fake news curation, but you also have toxic behavior on large groups. So most of Twitter crypto communities are organized on Telegram and Discord channels. And many of these groups have thousands and thousands of members. And as I stated, founders of crypto projects, they don't want to spend their time all day moderating toxic behavior on their community channels. And also community managers don't want to be the ones making these high-stakes decisions about which members should be accepted or rejected. And it also becomes very contentious when you're talking about governance and DAO governance. And if users have some toxic behavior on a governance forum or a governance channel, does it become more political about which users are able to participate? And how do you balance free speech from preventing toxic behavior from taking over your community? So we're introducing something called Meetclaros Moderate. And Meetclaros Moderate is a way to moderate social media channels, initially working with Telegram, but also working on Discord to have fair and transparent moderation. So, yeah, so how does it work? So Meetclaros Moderate uses reality.eth and the Meetclaros court on Gnosis chain. So let's say there's a user who has some toxic behavior, and either a permission set of moderators set by the group configuration or anyone in the group can report the toxic behavior. When the behavior is reported, a question is created on reality. So this is reality, and anyone can answer the question about the toxicity of the user's behavior and whether or not it broke rules of the group. They have to, when they answer the question, they leave a deposit of some DAI, in this case 10. Any user can change the answer by escalating and doubling the bond. They can change the answer from yes to no, yes, the user did break the code of conduct, no, they did not, and the preliminary answer is enforced. So the preliminary answer, the user has some penalty, maybe a 24-hour mute, or it could escalate if the user has already been warned or been muted in the past, the penalty could escalate. At the same time, anyone can request arbitration. Anyone can dispute the answer. And they can do so by creating a dispute in the Meetclaros court. When a dispute is created, again, jurors are randomly selected, and then they deliberate on evidence, and they vote. Anyone can also directly add evidence from the Telegram group or Discord channel, and when they add evidence, the message in question is uploaded to IPFS in case the message is deleted, to preserve the evidence. And this evidence is also automatically displayed in the Meetclaros court. So, and when the case concludes, then the penalty is enforced. Either the user has their reputation cleared, or the user will have some penalty for their toxic behavior. So we're going to start rolling out Meetclaros Moderate to select partners depending on their community needs. So if you've had a community, a crypto community or otherwise that struggled with moderation and how to moderate at scale, please get in contact with us, and we can try to see what your needs are and what your community needs are and how Meetclaros Moderate could help. So this QR code will take you to an interest form. And if you want to learn more, go to meetclaros.io/moderate and get in contact with us. We'd love to help you with your communities and community management. Yeah, thank you. How much time do I have? 5 minutes for questions? Yeah.
Hi, thanks. I'm just wondering, I can see the logo of the European Commission behind you. Do you do some projects, or you have received some funding, or?
So as far as I know, Meetclaros, the cooperative, received a grant from the European Union Horizon funds for, I don't know, breakthrough technologies. So this was like a €1 million grant by the European Union. Federico in the audience can answer.
I'm the founder of Meetclaros. So it was a prize called Horizons 2020, Blockchains for Good, and we presented our project, and we split the prize with the winner, the other winner, and it's 500K each euros. It was for the for the project, not to build something specific. It was for the project that was already built, basically.
Hi, thanks for the talk. Is there the idea that if, for example, in a channel in Discord or Telegram, I insult someone and the Kleros case punishes me, is there the idea that this punishment can propagate also to other channels if I am in other Discord server or groups or stuff like this, and could impact then my reputation and ban me from other groups or stuff like this?
Yeah, that's right. It is possible to have even cross-platform and cross-group persistent reputation, but it's up to the groups about which rules and which groups they want to also respect their moderation platform. So different groups can have different rules, but yeah, it's possible that your reputation can follow you. Yeah, these are experiments with reputation systems, negative reputation systems.
Hi, do you maintain some kind of e-reputation, or is it a one-shot judgment every time?
Sorry, could you repeat the first part
Is
of the
it,
question?
do you maintain an e-reputation, or is it a one-shot judgment every time?
So there's no explicit persistent reputation. So each time the user behavior is judged on the evidence alone, and past history of the user is not, that doesn't affect their ongoing case. Yeah. All right. Thank you.